In part 9 of the 2024 Miami Hurricane opponent preview series, I will preview the Duke Blue Devils, our opponent at Hard Rock Stadium on November 2nd in Manny Bowl I. That is in reference to Manny Diaz, who's had his fair share of his defensive coordinator roles. He's been very energetic, fired up, and very, very good at his job as defensive guru. He worked at Texas with us, with NC State and Mississippi State, as well as a year at Louisiana Tech and a time at Middle Tennessee. Now, after cranking up the Penn State defense over the last 2 years, he landed the Duke head coaching job. Now, Duke may not win anything massive, but Diaz can get them to around 7 wins, go to a bowl, and beat North Carolina and North Carolina State occasionally. Former head coach Mike Elko, who's now in College Station, proved it was possible to win in Durham again with 2 straight good seasons before taking off for Texas A&M. He did it by improving the defense instantly and making Duke a tough team. Diaz has to keep that formula going. Now, there's going to be a lot of turnover, but the schedule isn't bad. The starting 22 should be okay in time. And if Diaz wins 21 games in the 3 years like he did in Coral Gables, he'll be just fine. New offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer comes over from SMU, which had an offense that was on fire last season, putting up an impressive 38.7 points and 454 yards per game. He made the switch from Dallas to Durham to lead Manny Diaz's attack. There are plenty of pieces to elevate the Blue Devil offense quickly, and it all begins with the quarterback. Now, Duke has a quarterback situation. Riley Leonard was the initial starter, but an ankle injury and transfer to Notre Dame left Grayson Loftus as the front runner after finishing the season strong last year. However, the Blue Devils secured Malik Murphy, a 6'5", 238-pound quarterback who could cause problems for the rest of the ACC once he gains experience. Most of the top receivers are returning, with Jordan Moore leading the pack after an impressive 82-catch, 8-touchdown season last year. And with solid depth and talented tight ends, Murphy will have weapons at his disposal from the start. While leading rusher Jordan Waters departed for NC State, Jaquez Moore is poised to step up after rushing for 671 yards and averaging 5.8 yards a carry. He'll have support from New Mexico State transfer Star Thomas and a deep running back group. However, there's a major concern. The Duke offensive line saw 2 NFL caliber players leave, with Graham Barton going in the first round to the Buccaneers and Jacob Monk going to Green Bay. Bringing in Jack Purcell from Penn helps, but the entire starting offensive line needs to be rebuilt. Let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. Now, this is where Manny Diaz has a strength here. It's set to be a force to be reckoned with, though there are gaps to fill due to departures. They do have returning players like Trey Freeman and Nick Morris ready to step up. The secondary shows promise with playmakers like Joshua Pickett and Chandler Rivers. The key to Duke's season is to replicate the success of last year, which was directly tied to their ability to limit opponents' rushing yards. They need to replicate that success to have a shot at winning. Key game for Duke will be September 28th against North Carolina. The heartbreaking 47-45 loss to the Tar Heels was Duke's 5th consecutive defeat in the rivalry. This time, the game serves as the conference opener, which adds more pressure to secure a win before facing tough matchups against Georgia Tech and FSU. And the road ahead doesn't get any easier, with 4 of the next 7 games scheduled away from Durham. Now, the new coaching staff is solid. They're making with a few exciting new additions. They have a real tough road ahead. They have to go out to Evanston in a makeshift field to take on in Northwestern early in the year. The team should have wins against Elon, UConn, and Middle Tennessee. However, the real challenge lies ahead after the first 4 weeks. In spite of not having Clemson and Louisville on the schedule, they have a tough season ahead due to significant losses from last year, and it will be a rebuilding year. But the team is expected to defeat SMU and possibly Virginia Tech. With 1 upset victory, it can get 6 wins. If everything falls into place quickly, this could be the 3rd consecutive season with 8 or more wins for the program. From a Canes perspective now, it's Manny Bowl I, Manny's homecoming, as I mentioned earlier. This comes after either an emotional win or a tough loss to FSU at home. This is a game the Canes cannot lose. And I feel this is one game the Canes need to win, and I believe will win. Now, my prediction when looking at Duke's schedule is for 6-6 in 2024. In part 10 of the opponent preview series, I will preview the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.